All right, you guys, what it do? Your boy is back on the grind. One more time, your boy's back at it again, you guys. And in the garage here, doing some more tasks here. You know the drill. My son is trying to sleep. He's not really sleeping. He's just, I don't know what he's doing right now. But he should be napping right now, hopefully soon. It's been taking him a long time to get to sleep. So I'm trying to get stuff done as fast as I can, just in case he doesn't go to sleep and I got to go grab him. But anyways, I'm not going to make this intro terribly long, but we're plugging away at it, you guys. Little by little, bit by bit, we are getting this dang thing done. So with that being said, the last couple days I've been cleaning up parts, buying new bolts, also kind of refurbishing some bolts as well. I usually buy new suspension bolts, that way I can have all new hardware in my suspension. But some other bolts, like maybe like exhaust bolts or manifold bolts or something like that, a lot of times I will reuse those, and what I'll do is I'll just clean them up really well and take my wire wheel to them, shine them up, and then just throw a coat of paint on them. I'll show you here what I did. They actually turned out really good. Who knows if they'll hold up on the long term, but for now, they're great. Again, less is more build, just trying to, you know, kind of cut costs and pennies where I can, but also kind of replace, I guess, the necessary things that need to be replaced, or not so much that I want to replace, but things that I need to replace. Now, there are some want things that I did, like I bought the new suspension, things like that. Did I really need to do that? I would say 50-50, but, you know, at some point, it's going to have to all be replaced, whether if it's bushings or whatever, so might as well just do it. That's why I bought some stuff over Christmas. I did end up getting some front upper and lower control arms on Christmas sale. So I think it was like Black Friday or something like that. Got some really good deals on some matching BMR sets. So those are all in a big box. I'll have to show that in a different video. But I got like almost 200 off, I think it was. So today we're actually going to attack the rear end that I showed you right at the first clip of the video. We're going to get that all ready and prepped for some paint and get this thing back installed. Now the goal with that, actually, now that I got the hole under the car painted, the goal with that was to actually get that installed before Christmas, or at least painted. I should say at least painted, but I don't think I will, because I'm going to go a different route, and I'll show you guys that here in a moment. But if you're new to the channel, definitely think about subscribing now, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, y'all. Mr. Griffin 23 in the building, working on this 87 Buick Regal Turbo Limited. All right, so let me take you outside here real quick, show you what I'm painting, and then I'll take you into the car and then we'll go from there. All right, you guys, so before we go outside here, I'll show you what paint I'm using. So for one side, the underside that you're not going to see, I'm using this Summit chassis enamel. I've been using this for a really long time, but what I've come to find out over the years is I love the color. It's a flat black, but the only thing with it, and it lays great, it actually lays really well, and if you mess up on something, you can spray this over the messed up area and it'll settle in like it was never even messed up. So this is great stuff. The only thing about it is it's super soft, like not so soft like when it dries you can't like touch it or anything, and then it won't leave your fingerprint or anything like that. But if any like road grime or debris or if anything like that hits it, it can nick it very easily. So it doesn't dry hard, you could say. So anyways, that's the only thing I don't like about it, but man, does it lay super well. So what I've been doing is I've been kind of using it more so as a primer, or in areas where you can't really see, or if it's going to be covered up, so that way at least it's protected, and then you won't be able to see it, and it won't get any type of road grime or anything like that on it. Then I painted all my bolts and hardware with this stuff. Now this is gloss black. I'm not a huge gloss black fan on engine parts and undercarriage and stuff like that, but I bought this for the K5, and I think it was the only color that they had. They didn't have any of the satin black, so I got it. And now I'm using it just for my bolts and hardware, and kind of just some touch-up areas and things like that if I need it. So that's the two pieces of paint that I'm using, and I have two more cans of satin black that I'm going to be using on the front of the car here when I get to it, and possibly the rear end, but I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a little bit. So taking you outside here right now, you guys, I gotta talk soft because my son's window is right next to us. But this here is the gas tank straps, and what I'm doing is this is the part here that lays up to the gas tank, and I am painting that using the Summit Racing chassis enamel. So that way, at least it's covered, and it'll be, you know, protected with the paint, and you won't be able to see it. So that way I can at least get some paint on it. And then on the side that you can see, I'm actually going to use that that VHT roll bar chassis paint, because I think that's epoxy based as well too, so it'll be a little bit more durable than this stuff here, and it should actually look good and hold up really well. So let me go ahead and take you inside here, and I'll show you guys the rear end. This is the rear end. You can see it's actually not in bad shape. It just has a lot of surface rust. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm actually going to take my wire wheel and my drill, and I'm just gonna try to get all of the scaling off of it and just get it the best that I can. I was gonna take my higher powered wheel to it, but I don't think it really needs it. I just think it just has some light scaling on it. And then when I use some rust encapsulator on it, that should cover that all up. So it should turn out pretty decent. I do have bushings that I'm going to replace these as well, since it's out. And shoot, then we're gonna go from there. So my thought process was, I actually was going to use the VHT roll bar and chassis paint on it, but I think I am still going to do that. I'm just gonna use that more as a top coat. But what I'm going to do is, I think I'm gonna go ahead and buy and fork over the money and buy that Eastwood rust encapsulator. I've been debating getting it or not. It's a little bit spendy, especially just for 2 aerosol bottles. It's like 60 bucks. And then I can also cover it up with some paint, and then it'll be good to go. So that's my thought process on this. And I'll take you under the car here, and I'll show you what I was talking about with refurbishing and restoring some of these nuts and bolts. So these here, I think these bolts here, what are these for? Damn, what are those for? Oh, those are for the gas tank straps. So here you can see that's 2 nuts there, 2 bolts there. And I'm not looking for perfection, you guys. And I know as soon as I take a socket to it, and if I go ham on it, they're probably gonna scratch and mar and take off some of the paint. But I'm gonna try to be as careful as I can. But it looks better than what it was. They were just brown and rusty and everything. So take you under the car here real quick. All right, so this is the test pipe. This is the down pipe from the turbo right here. And then this here is where the exhaust will attach to. And here from the factory is where they had that catalytic converter right here. So they replace it with what they call a test pipe. And I took this test pipe off, cleaned it, put it back up. I didn't worry about painting or anything. Again, less is more, right? And I took these bolts off, took them to the wire wheel, cleaned them up, took them to the wire wheel, and then just painted them with that gloss black VHT paint. So you can see, again, a little bit goes a long way, you guys. These actually turned out really well. Also here, you have a heat shield right here that sits right under the passenger floorboard. And you can see here, I did the same thing to those bolts, those little small, tiny bolts there over here. And also right there, and that's a good look at that one. So you see how well they turned out. And again, those were just kind of just faded brown, not really surface rusted or anything, but they just didn't look as good as they do right now. And you can see how it looks up against the floor. So it looks really good, you guys. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do right now is get up off this floor. And I'm gonna get this rear end outside and get it all set up, so that way I can take the wire wheel to it. And then I'm gonna probably just time lapse that, you guys, try to get it the best I can. I probably only got about maybe a half hour, 45 minutes before the wife gets home. So I wanna get as much of this done as I can and get this all clean, ready, and prepped up. I at least wanna get it wire wheeled today. Then we can think about cleaning it. And hopefully I can have it all clean and ready for paint before Christmas. And you guys, stay tuned. All right, y'all, so I've been at this for probably about an hour, hour and a half, so it's cleanup time for me. I gotta go ahead and get inside here and then get ready for work, but you can see how it turned out, I just took the wire wheel to it, use these assortments of wire brushes along with that drill, and I have a bigger battery that's on the charger right now. I forgot what size it is, but if you guys have the bigger battery for those, man, that lasted this whole time. And then I went in and just put it on the charger and took the smaller one that you saw on that now, and just kind of just touched up some areas. But man, that thing worked phenomenal. Lasted the whole cleaning of the hole we're in. I'm talking getting in all the little creases and crevices. That battery was great. But anyways, you guys, I got to go ahead and get in, but you can see how it all turned out with the wire wheel. Turned out phenomenal. So let me go ahead and clean up here, and then I'll chime back in here in a moment in the next phases of this whole cleanup process. All right, y'all, it is the next day. I am out here finishing this up, cleaning the inside of this drum area here. I'm not sure, but I think this one is leaking, so I might have to replace it, but I'm not gonna do that right now until it's on the car. It'll just be easier to kind of work on from there. And I'm just cleaning the inside of it here with some brake clean. Coming on down the line here, you see I pretty much have it wired wheeled down as far as I want to go. The Pour 15 will actually cover all that up, so that'll be good. And then we'll just go from there. So still got to do this side here, inside of there, and then from here we're just going to clean it up. So I have all my cleaning solution and stuff there, got my hose, and then I'll go to town on it and then let it dry, and then I hope to have it maybe painted or started painting it by tomorrow is the plan. So we'll see how far I get on it. I'm thinking what I'm going to do is Pour 15 it and then paint over that Pour 15. I think the Pour 15 will give me the best durability as far as just road debris and things like that. So if rock chips or anything kind of hit the rear end, it won't chip as easy as regular paint would. So we'll see, because that Pour 15 is an encapsulator, so it basically surrounds the rust area and not only neutralizes it, but at the same time encapsulate it so it won't rust again. So it kind of provides a hardened barrier. So with that being said, I think I'm going to do that. But I'm going to clean it, do all that, and then at some point I'm going to take these off as well. I rented a tool there from O'Reilly's in that orange box. So let me go ahead and get after this, and I'll chime back in here in a moment. All right, y'all, so a couple hours later, son let me work. He's finally waking up, so it's time to go in. But I got it all cleaned up, you guys, degreased, and now it's drying. So I got my dish heater. If you guys don't have one of those dish heaters, man, they are great. Those work great, you guys. So I've been using those to dry my parts, and I'll let that sit here and dry right now. I have the garage door just partially open because I don't want to let out too much of the heat, as I have the garage heated right now so it can dry. Once it dries, then I'll be ready to wipe it down one last time with some degreaser, and then we'll go in on it using some Pour 15, and then we'll paint over that as well too. So I don't have the correct part to get those bushings out. I was gonna go ahead and take those out, but the one that I rented didn't have the right tools in it for me to get those out, so I'm gonna have to wait. They're actually pretty good. I'm really tempted just to kind of keep them. But you know, it's out right now. I'm sure they're the original ones, and they look great, but I might as well just go ahead and change them out. I already bought the parts anyways. But yeah, y'all, it is all set. It is cleaned, degreased, and ready for the final prep stages. And then after that, we're gonna go in on it, make it look all nice and pretty. So you guys stay tuned. I'll be out here tomorrow working on it, hopefully, and then we'll go from there. So you guys stay tuned. For you, it'll be just the next clip. For me, it'll be the next day. Also, one more thing before I call it here real quick and head in. Crazy, you guys. So I was taking these off of the rear end, these bump stops, and they're actually in really good shape. They came off really easily. And I set them on the back of my bumper on my Escalade and totally forgot about them. They were just sitting there. And I took my son to our gym today to bring my wife a coffee and just hang out for a little bit. He loves to run around the gym. And anyways, long story short, I drove to the gym, which is 15 minutes away on the freeway, ran some errands, went back on the freeway, came home, and backed in, and then took him in and whatnot. And then I started working on the rear end like you guys saw. So I went to just do something, and I looked over and glanced over, and this was sitting on the bumper. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I forgot about those. I drove all around, and one was still on there. And I don't know where the other one is. I was tempted to go drive around the neighborhood to see if it's even on the ground somewhere, but I don't know. As long as this one lasted on, I could only imagine how long the other one lasted on. So crazy. I can't believe that it stayed on there. So now I'm going to have to buy a new one. So much for less is more. I was just going to reuse them, clean it up, because it's actually in really, really good condition. But oh well, it can't be that much. All right, what is the business, y'all? It is the next day. Set this camera up here, and I'm out here messing with this thing. Took out the bushings. That was a pain in the butt. O'Reilly's or AutoZone does not have like a bearing puller, at least from what I've seen. So I've always used this ball joint press and removal kit. AutoZone used to sell one big kit that had a bunch of these style cups in there, and then that green press deal. They used to have one big kit that came with all assortments, and it always worked phenomenal for me. Never had any issues installing them or getting them out. Now installing it will be a lot easier than it was getting them out. I actually had to one of the rubber bushings was actually sliding out of the little sleeve, and the sleeve was still in there, so I had to basically beat it out and mangle it up and get it out. And the other one actually went out a lot easier, but I broke the bolt that I was using to get it out. But anyways, they're out, and it delayed me into wanting to paint this thing. You guys know I'm always out here when my son is sleeping, so I don't have much time probably now. But what I'm going to do is install the bushings. I just got some Moog bushings. This is the part number right here. So it's K6178, and it comes with 2 bushings. I think they were like $30. And the other ones were actually in pretty good shape. I probably did not need to replace them, but being that they were probably original and to the car, I figured, why not? It's only $30. It's already out, and I don't have to replace any other ones because with my new lower and upper control arms, they're already new anyway. So I went ahead and got these. So I'm going to go ahead and install those again. Should be far easier this time. So anyways, you'll see. I'll probably put you on a time lapse here, but it's really simple. Basically, I use this tool right here in this cup, and I put it on the back side so that way when I beat it through, it has something to slide into. And then on the back side of it, I just use this grade 8 thick washer because it encompasses the whole part of it, so I can push it down flat, and then I stick it all up in between that little deal right here, this clamp. So again, far easier to install, and I think we should be good to go with that. So let me go ahead. I'll put you guys on a time lapse, and then we'll jump back in here when it's all done. All right, you guys, so I got the first coat on, and I am very, pleased with it. Now I only did the axles and the rear diff. I didn't do the cover because I didn't want the Pour 15 on the bolts, and I didn't want the bolts to basically kind of seize up to the diff cover. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna paint that when I paint the whole thing. And I didn't do the backing plates in that area as well too, because I didn't want the Pour 15 on that as well. I just wanted it on this because I'm going to spray paint over the whole entire thing when I'm all done. So I think it'll be a lot cleaner look and it'll be a lot nicer, but I am pleased with it so far. So that's just one coat, and I'm gonna do 2 when we're all said and done. So I'm gonna do that off camera, but get in the comments here, let me know what you guys think. This is the first time that I've ever brushed on Pour 15 onto a rear axle. And I seen another buddy do it, California. I don't know if you guys follow him, but he did it and he liked it, and I really liked the way that it turned out. I think he did his red though. But what I'm going to do, I'm gonna take it a little step further. I'm just gonna paint over that because you can top coat this. And the reason why I want to do that, 1, it'll give it another barrier as well, and 2, I think it'll make it look really nice when the whole thing is painted one color. And on top of that, I think it'll just add to the overall look and to make it look really, really nice. So you can get in the comments here, let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of it off camera. And I have a window to paint this because the wife said you can go ahead and work on it. She'll watch the little one. But I'll be in and out of the house, so that'll be nice because I can come in and out as I go. But this has to now dry up and be tacky before I apply the next coat. And then I actually have to lay the top coat on, I believe within, because if you guys didn't know, this is a rust encapsulator. So it neutralizes it and it encapsulates it so it can't rust anymore. And it leaves a hardened shell basically. And what I would have to do if I let it fully cure and dry is I would have to sand it. I think they recommend 320 grit to sand over the whole thing again, and then basically you can top coat it at that point. And I don't want to do that. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this thing kind of tack up a little bit, apply a second coat, and then go ahead and do my top coat. So I'll chime back in here in a moment. All right, y'all, what is up? It is the next day, and your boy was out here till 2:30 a.m. last night getting this done. The wife let me, but she actually allowed me some time to kind of get in here and get this done because she knew I really wanted to paint this this rear end here. So, but it turned out great, and I really didn't know if I was going to be able to get it done before Christmas. I really didn't know if I was going to be able just to get it done just in general and do it the way that I wanted to do it, just because I didn't have that huge block of time to get it done until yesterday. She came home and she was going to go shopping and stuff. She was like, did you need to go out there and get some stuff done? And I was like, yeah, I need a big block of time to kind of get this done because the weather is cooler. It takes longer for this paint and stuff to dry in between. So it's a lot of in and out, a lot of, you know, applying the coat, going inside or doing other things and kind of just coming in and out. So I started that process like sometime yesterday afternoon, and I didn't get done till like 2:30 in the morning just because I applied several different coats, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here when I flip this camera around. But man, it turned out really good. So let me flip this camera around and show you guys what's up. All right, you guys, so I got the heaters working. Matter of fact, let me move this one heater right here. All right, you guys, so got the heaters working. Again, my dish heater, man, those things work great. But sorry for the lighting. I don't want to open the door just yet because I want to let it stay as warm as it can in here. I am going to open the door to kind of get some photos and some final videos of it. And then I'm going to close it right back because I want to keep as much warm air in here as I can. It's probably about low to mid 40s outside right now. And in here it's probably like 63 degrees or something in here. So trying to keep it as warm as I can so this thing can dry. But as you can see, this thing turned out really good, you guys. No runs. I don't know. That was already there, so I don't know what exactly that's from, but it turned out really nice. Really nice. I am very, very pleased with how this turned out. I mean, it dang near looks like it got sandblasted first. So now, one thing is I did drop it. Oh man, I was so irritated, but you can't even tell. And the brunt of it was taken right here. You can kind of see where it's a little bit dented in, and there was a lot more dented in, and I pulled it back out. And luckily I had already had 2 coats of Pour 15 on it before I painted it, and that's when it fell. I had it on some rollers, like those Harbor Freight, like moving carts. Oh, those right there. And I was using my smaller jacks, which are these, and they don't really fit that great on there, but they fit just enough where I could prop it up there and kind of move it around. But I needed to use these because they fit under this portion of the hub and the axle there. You see where I have it set? So I can paint this thing a lot more clearer versus having the jack resting on here and then having a spot where it's not painted and coated and stuff like that. So I had to kind of get creative. And when I put it on there, I was moving it and it fell. But crazy enough, luckily, it flipped over and fell on the top of these. And then it hit that portion and it didn't do anything else to the rear end. It didn't scratch it or anything. It just kind of rubbed a little bit here. But I mean, you can't even tell. You can kind of tell a little bit right there. You guys can see. But being that no one will ever see that because it'll be tucked up under the car, man, I was pretty lucky. So what I did, as you guys saw, is I obviously cleaned it up, used a wire wheel on it to get some of the scaling off, really clean it up with some degreaser. Same process I used for the underbelly of the car. Super clean, simple green. This is just some degreaser right here, some Pour 15 degreaser and water, and that's really it. You know, let it dry. Then I use some mineral spirits to kind of get all the rest of the dirt and grease and anything else off before I painted it. And then I applied 2 coats of Pour 15, and that's what took it the longest because that has to sit up for a while and dry, and you have to wait till it gets a little bit tacky before you apply the next coat or your top coat. And the top coat has to be applied within 2 to 6 hours, depending on how warm it is. So I let it sit up a few hours, and these heaters actually helped a lot. And then I applied the VHT roll bar and chassis paint. Actually, this one here, the satin one, same deal. And it applied really well, you guys. And you guys can see what it looks like. So get in the comments, let me know what you guys think. And what I'm gonna do is open up this garage door, and I'm gonna give you guys a good look with the light on it, and you guys can let me know what you guys think about it. But I'm really happy that I got this done. All right, you guys, so get in the comments, let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna pop up this door, and I'm gonna leave you with some clips of what it looks like in the natural light. It is pouring outside right now, so luckily I have my tent up too, because I originally was gonna paint it outside, but I decided to put it here and just to cover up my car. So that ended up working out a lot better. But yeah, you guys, get in the comments, let me know what you guys think about this. If you're new to the channel, definitely think about subscribing now, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, y'all. Now the fun begins. We can start installing parts, putting parts back in this car, and then get ready to move to the front of the car for the front suspension. All right, so yeah, you guys know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. Y'all, Mr. Griffin 23 to build, and I'm out of here. Deuces. Peace out.